said we displayed, because a credible election, people must know where they are going to vote from. There should be no hidden polling stations. So we made sure the exercise is transparent. And for those of you who are reading newspapers, especially New Vision, we have put all these polling stations in the newspapers so that they become public. Nobody should claim we have hidden any polling station. There are about 50,000, but they are public knowledge. After polling stations, the next important exercise we embarked on was updating the voters' register. We made this public to the whole country. People registered up to 17th February. After the update, we displayed the voter register at all polling stations. The whole idea of display was to ensure that people raise complaints, those who have been left out. If our register contained those who died, they are supposed to be removed. If the register contained people recorded twice, they are supposed to be removed. The objective was to come up with a clean voter register. And for any democratic society, one of the pillars of a democracy is that the register must be clean. All human beings who are supposed to vote, who have the right to vote, should be on the voters' register. Of course, notwithstanding the law, I think the framers of the Constitution came up with an idea that we should have a cutoff, because if you continue registering voters up to the day of elections, you will not have a voters' register. Two, it will not be able to come up with, it may not be possible even to come up with number of ballots. So for you to plan for the number of ballots you should have, you must have a cutoff. So our cutoff was for all Ugandans who had turned 18 by the 17th of February. Of course, that's a debatable thing. Some people think we cut off so early, but in order to prepare for elections, we should have a cutoff. And specifically, so since special interest group elections started in May, or started in May, we should have had a cutoff before May. So after the display of the registers and the complaints, we went into special interest group elections. The people with disabilities, older persons, workers, women would not go into women because women representatives are chosen by universal adult suffrage. They are not chosen by colleges. So women councils are going to be chosen at a later time, but because women MPs are chosen by universal suffrage, we excluded them from the special interest group elections which we have been conducting. After that, we have done local government nomination for the various positions, possibly a critique of democracy. We thank the framers of the Ugandan Constitution that much as we have challenges, but Uganda is one of the few countries where you have special interest groups recognized, people with disabilities, older persons, workers. United States, the number of women, I need to be corrected, one of the leading democracies. Uganda has a bigger percentage of women in position of representation than this developed country called the United States. Thanks for the framers of our democratic system. We have challenges, but we also have some proud things to talk about. So we have been going through local government nominations. As I said, we have over 80 petitions. We are trying to handle most of those petitions to the satisfaction, inverted commas, of all those concerned. So the most important activity after local government nominations are presidential nominations, which we concluded last week. For the first time previously, we start with parliamentary nominations. This time it was the other way around. The reason why we did not want to mix parliamentary nominations with local government nominations would be overwhelmed. We would be overwhelmed. Hundreds of thousands of Ugandans turned up to be nominated for the different local government positions. Hundreds of thousands. So we thought if we nominated members of parliament at the same time, the process would be distorted. So we wanted local government nominations to be cleared, then we would go for the parliamentary nominations. So we had pushed parliamentary nominations to 15th and 16th of October, but Minister of Foreign Affairs requested that at that time, Uganda will be hosting non-aligned movement conference, and Uganda chairs. We are the chairperson of non-aligned movement, so we thought we should not mix up the two occasions. So we have pushed the parliamentary nominations to 22nd and 23rd of October. But last week, we had presidential nominations. Over 230 people picked nomination forms. There are different interpretations. Either Uganda is very democratic. Over 230 picked up nomination forms. We gave them to bring at least 2 weeks to the nomination. Some were able to do that. About 40 returned the nomination forms, but just a few issues. Some of the candidates underestimated our capacity to detect fraud. I'll just give you one example. One of the aspirants just went alphabetic. Mbarara, all the 100 names in alphabetical order. Jinja, all the 100 names in alphabetical order. Moroto, how? That all your supporters organize themselves in alphabetical order? Not possible. So previously, I think, because before we adopted the system we are using, some people used to access the voters register, copy the names, then append signatures. This time around, we did not make the voters register public. So some of them depended on 2020 voter register. And they did that alphabetical order. The names were not conforming. And also that clause that if a voter, a supporter has supported another candidate, so we exclude that one. So some of them were saying they were giving people to sign, and since money was involved, some people were supporting over 5 aspirants in exchange of money. So if in our record there's an indication that your supporter has already supported another candidate, we excluded that supporter. And of course, in a number of cases, you'll have 100 names, but the handwriting, the signature, same pen throughout. You could see it's one person signing the 100 names. So those were the anomalies, some of the anomalies which we addressed. And by the closure of the nomination exercise, we had 8 people nominated to contest for the January elections. There's just one case That is UPC, Uganda People's Congress. Before the nomination, I think they have internal problems, and there is a court order. There is a court order that Honorable Akena cannot be president of UPC. So we're in that dilemma. Cannot be president of UPC. So we called the factions for resolution. They failed to agree. 3 of them were all claiming they were president generals of UPC. So since there was a court order, we did not want to go against court order. It would be contempt of court. So we decided to exclude. But they're not telling the population the truth. They think it is easy. We don't want to be dragged